Good morning. It's wonderful to see you all here on this beautiful August morning in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I can't wait till we can take those masks off all our faces. It's wonderful to see you here, people of all ages. Welcome to those of you joining us online. We have a great service for you this morning. It's wonderful to have Reverend Marlon back. He has a special story for us and a special sermon for us. And since we're commissioning our teachers and our parents today, we have Shannon Boston and Corey Smith in the sanctuary with us. So we're in store for a great service. Please gather your children with you online, around your screen. Get your chalice. We'll just be lighting our chalice in just a minute. Please share the link on Facebook, Zoom, the website, whatever you can do to invite people to join us on this very special Sunday morning. I'd love to invite you now to stand up and greet each other and stay standing for this morning's invocation and covenant.
Rejoice in it and be glad. And let us count our many blessings. We are grateful for the capacity to see, hear, feel, and understand. We are grateful for the incredible gift of life. And we are especially grateful for the ties of love which bind us together, giving dignity, meaning, worth, and joy to all our days. Please join me in our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Welcome to All Souls, where we love beyond belief.
From all that dwell below the skies, let faith and hope with love arise. Let beauty, truth, and good be sung through every land, by every tongue.
If you join us at home lighting your chalices, perhaps, thank you to the Guerra Wolf family, Caroline, Eric, and Leo. They were married right here in our sanctuary, and they are lighting our chalice for us this morning.
We carry this fire of commitment like the sacred covenant written on each and every one of our hearts.
We bind ourselves together with these commitments, these covenants, like threads woven together into one grand tapestry of faith.
Faith and peace, and kindness, and life, and restoration and reparation, in love.
Can you give it to Dad?
What are we gonna do? What are you doing?
We invite you to join us as we sing this song, the words of which are printed in your order of service. Make us aware we are a sanctuary. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary. Make us aware, make us aware. We are a sanctuary, each made whole and loved right through.
and love right through.
With thanksgiving, we are a living sanctuary. Just once more, everyone. Make us a
Are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through.
with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary.
Back, and I hope you all, especially our youngest children and youth, are also glad to be back because today we are kicking off a new year of Sunday school and youth programming and programming for all different ages, but especially for our young people who are going back to school in the coming weeks, whether that's homeschool or school, public school or private school or wherever. I know some of you might be starting a nursing program or a PhD or going back to college, whatever age. It's kind of back to school time, and Reverend Davis is going to do a back to school blessing here in a few moments. But first, I'd like to invite forward our youth director, Corey Smith, and our executive director of Lifespan Religious Education, Shannon Boston, and Reverend Barbara Prose, who are going to come up and commission our teachers. And there's a role for all of us in this short ceremony.
Welcome. It is a special day because we are launching our All Souls Kids program and a new year of Sunday school. Today, we commission all who are involved in our religious exploration programs.
We call our program Religious Exploration because our job is to spark the curiosity and innate wisdom of our young people about matters of faith and religion and life.
We do not try to indoctrinate or stamp our minds onto our children. We also understand that parents and primary caregivers are the main religious educators of our children.
The teachers, guides, and ministers of this church supplement the religious education that the children are learning at home every day as they watch and listen to their parents and caregivers.
Now, if you are a teacher, a guide, or a religious exploration volunteer, or are considering it, please rise. We are placing into your care our most precious bodies, our children. Do you promise to do everything in your power to share with them the values of freedom, service, and love? If so, please say, I do. Thank you. Please remain standing.
Now, would the parents and caregivers of our children and youth please rise as you are able? Do you join your voice with ours in commissioning these teachers and guides to be entrusted with the religious education of your children? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
While our teachers and guides and parents remain standing, I say to all of you, there may be no more important task before us than raising our children. They will go on to change the world, reconcile differences, build bridges, bridging divides, opening minds, and opening hearts. This is the work of our entire congregation. Whether you are an empty nester or never had children of your own, whether you're planning your own family and would like to get experience, we need your help guiding our children on Sunday mornings. Yes. This is the work of an entire congregation. So please join us this year in helping raise this next generation of Unitarian Universalists so that we might continue to weave the tapestry, a strong and beautiful and growing tapestry of love beyond belief. So I'm going to ask, would the whole congregation please rise? And ask you a question. Do you understand your role in the upbringing of these beloved children and youth? If so, please say, we do.
We do.
We do.
A little bit louder.
We do.
Wonderful. I really hope that many of you will take the time to speak with Shannon Boston and or Corey Smith following this service. They'll be in the foyer to learn more about how you might help once a month or more. It's up to you. Please start the conversation today. Thank you so much. Please be seated.
So you're all commissioned now to help raise this new generation. And I have a story to share this morning. I brought this drum to help me tell the story. Some of you know I like to have a little rhythm behind these stories. And you all want to hear a story? All right. Here we go. Once upon a time, a long time ago, the people who lived in this part of the world believed and told a story about a cave. It was a cave that people didn't know where to find it. There was no Google Maps. There was no easy way to find this cave, but they said, if you found this cave, it had all the wisdom and knowledge about everything in the world. Well, in this cave, there was a woman, an old woman, who was weaving a big, beautiful tapestry. It was full of colors, and she was weaving for years and years. They say it was the tapestry of the world. And in the back of the cave, there was a cauldron, and there was a fire underneath that cauldron. They say it was an ancient fire. And in that cauldron was a stew, and in that stew there were seeds of all kinds that were the seeds of all life, the plants, the flowers, the trees, and every kind of seed. So every once in a while, she would have to go back to the back of the cave and stir the cauldron, because if those seeds ever got burned, then nature would get burned and the world might burn up. So she got up and she went slowly to the back of the cave because she was old and she moved kind of slow and she'd been sitting a long time. And when she did, the dog, what dog? The dog, the coronavirus, the inflation, the recession, the political violence. I don't know, the dog came and saw a thread hanging out of that woven tapestry and started tugging on it and pulled on it. And while she was stirring that primordial stew, that dog unraveled the entire tapestry until when the woman finally made her way back to the front of the cave, all she saw before her chair was a whole bunch of colorful thread in a big mess. So what did she do? She did the only thing she could do. She started to sit down. She picked up that thread to begin weaving the tapestry anew. And when she did, they say that even more beautiful visions of an even more beautiful tapestry came to her. And so she started to weave an even more exquisite tapestry of life and culture and all things. And they say, the ancients say, that Don't be mad at the dog. Some people say, that darn dog. They say, if it weren't for the dog, if it weren't for the unraveling, they say that if she ever finished weaving that tapestry, that the world would come to an end. So in your own life, when things start to unravel, don't just say, darn thing going on in my life. Pick up your thread, pick up your beautiful color, and be like the woman in the cave and start weaving back together your life, your career, your marriage, your personal life, whatever it is, and help us weave back the pattern of our culture, of our democracy, and of the world. The end. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I learned that story from the great storyteller Michael Meade, and it's an old Apache story, and he said that really this is a story that reminds us that when things are coming apart in our lives and unraveling, just remember that our job, each of us has our own. Don't freak out about the whole thing. Just remember that you have a unique color and a unique purpose, and just bring that forward, bring that to bear, and begin to weave it back into life. So when you came into the church this morning, you received one of these woven bracelets, and if you're online, when you come in, we'll try to have some for you. But take this with you, especially the children going back to school. Take this with you and tie it around your wrist, your ankle, your book bag, your wherever, and let it remind you of this story about how the world never ends, and that even the unravelings and even the difficulties and the challenges are all part of our creating a beautiful tapestry, and that's our role, to keep doing that. And we're all woven together in this community, supporting each other, helping each other. So as you go through your new school year, know that you don't go alone, but take this with you, reminding you that you're part of this beautiful community of hope and love and freedom and goodness and positivity. Welcome back to school.
We are a sanctuary. We are the threads, and we are the weavers. We are the flow, and we are the ebb. Light a candle this morning in gratitude for Reverend Marlin's safe return and that powerful story, for being all together this morning in our blessed sanctuary, for our musicians, Reverend Davis and all our ministers, and for each and every one of you. Light a candle for Salman Rushdie, who was attacked violently this week. We've had him as a guest here to speak a couple of times. We're grateful he's alive. We light a candle of celebration with member Ali Muhammad for him and his wife and their new daughter Lily, born in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. We light a candle of recovery for Christine O'Toole, who's been in St. Francis Hospital this week. And a candle of remembrance for Winona Hendren, who would have been 92 this past weekend. And a candle for the family and friends of Pat and Anna Neal, as their family supports 3 people in their family with metastatic cancer. Some young and some old. And another candle of gratitude for the recovery of Mother Imogene White, who's feeling much better after having COVID the last couple of weeks. Guessing that applies to some of you, too. So many COVID cases in the last month and 6 weeks. A prayer from Elizabeth Gutierrez for the health of her partner's father. And I invite you now gathered here to speak aloud the names of people you would like to lift up, and I will light a candle in their honor. I light a final candle for those names not spoken but carried in our hearts. And I invite you now to stand if today is close to the anniversary of a death or if you've lost someone in the recent times. Please stand and we'll rest in this sacred silence as Gerald Davis comes forward, Reverend Davis comes forward to pray for and with us.
Hear now this prayer. O gracious God, Spirit of life and love, we have raised our voices, speaking the names of those who have been present in our hearts. For whatever reason, we call their names because they are you. They are yours. Yes. Gracious God, we are assembled today in this sanctuary. We are sanctuary to be a blessing to one another, especially on this day. We are sending a blessing to all of those who have taken the courage to move past the boundaries and educate themselves. Yes, our babies are going away into an institution called school. And so we are blessing them that they may love still and learn more. Oh, gracious God, we know that there have been so many who have gone before us and told us what education was all about. The great one, William Edward Burghardt Du Bois, said education is the development of power and ideal. The development suggesting that we cannot stop educating ourselves. Power, saying that if you find that place within, that place that you have instilled in us, that power will move barriers. An ideal, because then you've dreamed. If you know that it can happen, that it may be possible, the ideal becomes reality. Gracious God, education is so important. And so we send a blessing from you to all who have moved beyond their boundaries to say, I want more. I want to develop this power. I want to make my ideal become a reality. Gracious God, we are so happy that you have given us that power and ideal to make it happen. And now, being blessed, we pray this prayer, knowing all things are possible through you and in your holy name. And so we say, amen. Blessed be Ashe.
When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Sing it with me now. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out.
Go and learn something new. Hopefully all of us will today.
Thank you, Pastor David, for that. When we were singing that about the breath, breathe, I thought, well, there's a word that rhymes, or it's close. Weave.
Weave.
Here's a new song that I don't think we've sung together, but it was inspired from Marlon's story. She wove the tapestry of the Word and the world. Here's how it goes. I'll teach it to you. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together in love. Can you try that with me this morning? Here we go. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together. Thank you. Weave us together in love. We are many textures, we are many colors, each one different from the other. But we are entwined with one another in one great tapestry. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together in love. We are different instruments, playing our own melodies, each one tuning to a different key. But we all are playing in harmony, in one great symphony. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together in love.
That's a song we need to sing to the whole nation right now. Weave us together. Now, as you probably know, I've been traveling for the last 3 months on sabbatical. I've had the great honor to cross the country, across North America, including parts of Canada. And with my family, we went into Western Europe and North Africa. And one thing that I have noticed or feel I've picked up is that people seem to be anxious, and there's a lot of fear in people right now. Some of it, of course, are based in really valid concerns about the environment, about the economy, about the state of democracy, as well as various things that are going on in people's personal lives. However, a lot of it is also shaped by the stories that people are believing and telling themselves that may or may not be connected to reality. There are many outlets and individuals stirring up fear and anxiety right now. And a lot of it has to do with what we choose to watch or listen to or pay attention to. Buddhist teacher Jack Kornfield tells a story about a couple from snowy Minnesota who made a plan to escape the winter cold one year by going to a Florida resort where they had stayed on their honeymoon 25 years earlier. Because of his wife's delayed work schedule, the husband went first. Now, when he arrived, he received a message at the front desk that she would be meeting him soon. So he sent her this email in reply. But because he typed one letter wrong in the email address, it went instead to an old woman here in Oklahoma whose minister husband had just died. Here's what she read. Dearest, well, the journey is over and I've finally arrived. I was surprised to find that they have email here now. They tell me you will be coming soon. It will be good to be together again. Love, as always. P.S. Be prepared. It's quite hot down here. Apparently a true story. Let's just say it's important to view with a grain of salt the information that you are receiving on the internet, through email, through social media, through television. Of course, it's natural to feel fear, to feel anxiety, even frustration and anger when things are changing quickly and unexpectedly, and especially when they're changing in ways that we don't like. So I've been exploring this question. How do we remain centered and wise and calm under such circumstances? Jack Kornfield says, not giving in to the fear is an act of resistance, a revolutionary act in a time like this. The analogy that I've been thinking about is a movie theater. When there's a fire in a movie theater, if everybody panics, then people are probably going to die, get trampled, get hurt. But if only one person or a few people stay centered, stay calm in the midst of it all, they can help make sure that everybody gets out alive and safe. We need to be and we need to become those who, in the midst of all this insanity, fear, anxiety, change, we need to find ways to become those who are staying calm, staying centered, so that we can help ourselves and everybody else get out of this safe and well. I remember an experience that I had. It's my wife and I. Before we were married, we were living in Somerville, Massachusetts, in this little apartment, and we had a little kitchen nook with a table right by the window. It was end of summer, beautiful weather. We had the window open, a screen right next to us, and we were eating dinner. And all of a sudden, we heard an airplane. You know, it just sounded like a normal airplane, but then it started getting louder and louder. It became so loud that we're like, I think it's going to hit this house. And so as it got so loud that we couldn't even stand it, we were sure that it was about to come right through our wall. So we started to run away towards our bedroom, like to jump under the bed. I'm not sure that would have helped with an airplane smashing into the house, okay, so when my wife tells this story, and it's been 25 years ago, when my wife tells this story, she claims that as we got to the door of our bedroom, that I blocked her out of the way so that I could get in first. Now I've resisted that telling of the story, but that's how she remembers it. That's how she likes to tell it. But here I am 25 years later, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe it's possible. Maybe I did. I mean, I was running for my life. And it's fight or flight, right? It's that reptilian part of our brain, the earliest part of our brain, back here by the brain stem. And when you're in that mode, it's like you're not thinking. It's all about survival. So maybe I did. This is the first time I've ever admitted this to my wife. So. And I mean, there's this old story you've probably heard about this, these two people, they're walking through the woods and a bear comes up and the one says, we got to run. And the person says, you think you can outrun a bear? And he says, I don't need to outrun the bear. I just need to outrun you. So I think that's how my wife felt about the plane crash. But panic, it doesn't help us in these situations. And yet we can't really help in certain situations, but to feel that. So I know firefighters, they do drills so that they are preparing themselves because they know they're likely to be in a situation where panic would be the right biological evolutionary response, but they need to stay calm to save their life and to save other people's lives. So they need to be able to keep their heads on straight, and we need to, in a time like this, figure out how do we make sure that we're keeping our heads on straight. Now, I don't mean that we need to prepare for a airplane flying through our kitchen window. We don't need to prepare for a fire in a movie theater. I just mean we need healthy ways that we can avoid living too much in a state of perpetual anxiety and fear and anger. You and I should work to be part of the solution rather than adding to the problems of our times. And we can do this. We can do this together. This is our spiritual work, if you will. This is part of our personal work. This is part of our destiny, part of our legacy in these times. Because whether you look back at history at any period, any time, and there were always some people who kept their wits about them and who helped to balance the society through all kinds of things. So one of my favorite parts of your message last week, Barbara, was when she talked about, it was all about gratitude. And she talked about how we need to find ways to be grateful in the midst of whatever is going on in our day. Whatever we're going through. And I just really felt touched by it because, I'm going through stuff. You're going through stuff. We're all going through stuff. And we can't just be grateful when, things are finally perfect or, everything's going our way. If you have kids, I guarantee you're going through stuff, right? If you don't have kids, I guarantee you're going through stuff. If you're in a relationship, you're going through stuff. If you're not in a relationship, you're going through stuff. If you're not independently wealthy right now, you're going through stuff. If you are independently wealthy, you're going through stuff. We're all going through. Raise your hand if you're not going through anything right now. Because if you are, you're the lucky one. You should be up here in the pulpit giving the message today. Because now, Michael Meade, who taught me the story that I shared with the children, shared with all of us this morning, he said that the unraveling of the tapestry is a part of all of creation. It's just a part of life, that things get unraveled in our lives. They're going to. Nobody's life they're born, and they go to the end of a life that has any length of years to it without some things coming apart, falling apart, fraying at the edges. It's just a part. And the ancient wisdom is that we can't just curse the bad things. We need to lean in and say, this is what life is. This is reality. We're not living in some, there's so many people trying to live in some conspiracy alternative world right now that's not real. But if we talk about what's real is that there's joy and there's beauty and there's goodness and there's love, and there's also difficulty and hate and pain and struggle and death and sickness and all of that. And that is life. And so how do we just embrace our life more fully so that we can understand what's real and be an expression of that in the world? It could be something going on and unraveling in your work life, in your family life, of course, the political life of our country. The point is not to look at these moments of unraveling as something that are not supposed to happen. They happen. They're happening. So to see everything that happens to us as part of the flow of life, and to think that this is what's happening in my life now. Where can I find gratitude? How can I stay centered? I want to tell you, I spent the first 11 days of my sabbatical all alone, by myself. A good friend had a place in Colorado where I could go. Nobody was there. And I purposely set it up so that I would have no distractions. No one to talk to, no television, no internet. And when I tell people this, they say, "Oh, that sounds so nice. I need to have that kind of, I need to get away. It sounds so peaceful." Well, it was peaceful, but it was also incredibly difficult. I don't know if you've spent a lot of time with yourself, but if you're anything like me, there's a lot of stuff in there that I cover up with how I live my life. You know, I stay pretty busy. I get up, there's the kids, I got stuff to do, I'm making stuff, I'm getting things ready, I get distracted, I get a phone call. So I had to sit with whatever I was thinking, whatever my emotions were, and I couldn't just, go to the internet, go search Facebook, do whatever I want to do. I had to just sit with it. And I had nowhere to run, and I just couldn't use those usual techniques that I use. So what surprised me the most was that there was one day early on where I became really anxious, and it felt horrible, but I just sat with it. I didn't go drink a beer. I didn't go watch a YouTube video of something funny. I just paid attention to it and wondered if it would go away, hoped it would go away, but just said, what's going on? Where's this even coming from? I'm up here by myself. I'm safe. I got food. I got shelter. Another day, I woke up feeling pretty depressed. I was like, wow, this is fascinating. Feels terrible. I don't like it. I wonder how long it'll last. And I sat with it all day. And then I noticed around 2 o'clock on this particular day, it just lifted. I realized, I'm not feeling that anymore. Fascinating. I watched. And there were many days when I was calm, I was happy, I was writing, I was reading, I was going out for walks and meditating. I was meditating 3 times a day. I sat and meditated. I love meditation. It's become a real grounding thing for me in my life. One day I woke up, I was angry. Now, I have to tell you, I never knew that I was so moody. I think of myself as a pretty even-keeled person most of the time. I have my ups and downs like everybody else, but I never have sat for so many days and just paid attention to what was coming up in my mind and in my feelings. Now, I looked out at this mountain that was just beyond the property where I was, and I noticed as I was sitting there that the mountain, it just stays there. Sits still. The snow comes, the rain comes, the clouds come, the lightning, the storms, the darkness, and then they move away. And the mountain just stays there. It doesn't try to run. It doesn't try to hide. It doesn't seem to be judging what's going on. It's just, this is what's real. This is what it's like to be a mountain. So I share this with you because this year, I've made a commitment, and I want to announce it publicly. I made a commitment this year to work on being more present with what is. And I want to invite you, if you're so inclined, to join me on this journey. Because I'm convinced that by sitting with what's real, we will become those type of people that can bring some calm to the world around us. not running, not panicking, not judging, like the mountain. And we'll see. These things come and they go. Nothing stays. No clouds ever stay. They look stuck sometimes, but they eventually pass. And I think we could do this together. And it's about splitting your attention. So this is what I'm talking about. Split your attention between what you're doing and paying attention to what you're feeling or thinking about what you're doing. So it's not about not watching TV or not doing things. It's just about when you can be aware, pay attention. Oh, look at this. I'm watching this news cycle and I'm feeling really anxious. Or I'm watching my child do this. What am I thinking? And what's going on? And it's not about trying to change it or do anything, but just pay attention. That's the first step. So splitting your attention. And I really want to encourage you to do that with me this year if you're so inclined. I want to try to be more intentional and more skillful about how I show up. When I eat, I'm gonna try to pay attention. I'm eating. Look at this. I've got this, whatever it is. I got this organic, milk I'm drinking. Wow, this is really tasty. Or this banana or whatever it is. Like, just enjoy this chocolate chip cookie. Wow, it's delicious. I'm not freaking out about what's going on in Washington, D.C. I'm eating a chocolate chip. How lucky could I be? In this moment. And if we could be in those present moments and truly be thankful and present, we have a lot. All of us, no matter what we're going through, there's a lot of moments of pleasure and things to be grateful for. When I walk, I'm going to pay attention to my body walking. When I'm mad or sad or bad and feeling bad in any way, I'm not going to run. I'm going to sit with it and see how I'm feeling. I came home from church last Sunday. It was a great Sunday. What an amazing, this worship team, I wasn't a part of that service. I just came, parachuted in, and participated, but they created it, and there was so much positive energy. Who was here last Sunday? Anybody? Yeah. It was just such a great feeling in here. I left, I was just high as a kite all day. Then I went home, 6 o'clock, and I was feeling kind of low, and I thought, what's this? Where's this coming from? And now I know what I would have done before. I would have got home and like, hey, it's 6 o'clock. I'm going to grab a beer out of the fridge. Maybe have a beer, maybe help my wife make some dinner. I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. And I went and I sat and I meditated. And what was interesting was I had a theory about why I was feeling sad. And when I meditated, that did not come up once in my mind. But there was another thing that had come up during the day, a conversation I had. I'm not going to go into details, but about a relationship and a situation with somebody, and I realized that was bothering me, and I had no idea that that's what it was. And then after I was done meditating, I said, well, that's what's bothering me, and it just knowing that really helped me shift things, and I went into the rest of my night with my family. I was less irritated, but what was most amazing to me was I thought I knew why I was feeling what I was feeling, and it was something completely different. So I want to encourage you, if you don't have a meditation practice of some kind, that you look for some way to do that, to find some way to be more present, to split your attention as best you can when you're walking, when you're eating, when you're brushing your teeth. At any point in your day, you can just sort of pay attention. What am I feeling? What am I thinking? So one of the things that I've noticed, I'm wrapping up here in just a second, but one of the things that I have noticed this past week, being back for 1 week, is just how good it has felt to be around so many positive, caring people who are really striving to do well, to live well, to give back to others. And I realized open-minded people, inclusive people, and I realized it's an antidote to what's going on in so much of the world, to just be around. There's this collective consciousness in this place, in this community of people who care, who want to make a difference, who want to know the truth, and not just being battled all the time. And so it's a great feeling, and I'm so glad to be back with you in this community of freedom and love. It's a healing salve, I think, for the soul. To be with people, good people, who are striving, who are doing well, who are trying their best, and who are here to help each other. It's great. And the great spiritual teachers of all times have said things like, the kingdom of God is upon us. It's now. or they've said that the Pure Land Buddhism, is what they call the Pure Land, is here in every moment. Or for the non-religious, the moment you are waiting for is now. It's not tomorrow. It's not after you graduate or after you retire. It's not after you finally have this big success. It's even in the unraveling moments of your life. This is the day that we've been given. Time is precious. One of the reasons time is so precious is because none of us know how much time we have, or how much time the people we love have, and how much time we have with them. So this is about paying attention, is about improving the quality of whatever time we have, because we're paying attention and we're in it and we're willing to face whatever the world has to bring. So I invite you to join me. I'll talk more next week a little bit about this, and we'll continue to build on this. And I hope that you're interested in finding a way to deepen your presence and your sense of being mindful in every moment. It's going to be a beautiful year. I saw those beautiful children. I got to be with them in camp last week, some of them, and we had a great time. I'm so glad you're a part of this community. I'm so glad to be back, and I just want to say once again, I love you.
Beautiful. Please be seated. That was beautiful. Thank you, Rick and David. At 11:30 today, you can join the second in our three-part series called Foundations of Unitarian Universalism. I think it is Corey Lovell teaching today. You'll learn about the history and theology of our free faith and how we've come to understand love beyond belief. That's at 11:30 in room 112 and also online. And you can also choose today to be the day when you become part of our All Souls family. If you're not yet a member, want to understand more about membership, that's at 1 o'clock today in that same room, room 112, in the room and online with Nefertiti Sanders and myself. Meet other people who are on this liberal religious journey. That's always really heartwarming when people tell each other their stories and find a community where they belong. And also, small groups are starting in the fall, in September and October. If you're curious about that, please talk to Corey Lovell. And our Wellspring Zoom retreat is on Sunday, August 28th. And to participate in these new small groups, where you get to do a lot of inner exploration, really explore your own spirituality, you need to participate in the retreat on the 28th. Corey Lovell is the one to talk to for more information about that. I really hope you'll talk to Shannon and Corey Smith out in the foyer today about getting involved with our religious education program this year. Save the date, September 11th for our Homecoming Sunday. And our offering today goes to the John Wolfe Scholarship at Meadville Lombard Theological School. Your contributions today will help educate progressive religious leaders grounded in UU values of justice, equity, and compassion. If you'd like to make a donation to the church, please use one of the white envelopes in your pew back, and we'll now gratefully receive this morning's offering.
Sometimes you just gotta say, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
Well, thank you, Rick and David, Matt. We're going to extinguish our chalice. If you have one at home, you might extinguish yours with us as well. As we go forth from this place into this day that we've been given, I want to invite those who are online to stay online and join Corey Lovell and others in conversation. It's always great to get to know some new people and refresh relationships with folks who've been around. If you're here, we have coffee and other refreshments in our bookstore, in the Alliance Room and the foyer, and so let's hang out. I look forward to saying hello to you after such a long time away, so stick around. Let's create some community. Come back next week. Bring some friends. Bring some family members. We'd love to have as many people as a part of this community as possible. In fact, I can't wait. I've been hearing that people have been joining throughout the summer, and today I can't wait to see who joins here at 1 o'clock today to be a part of this community of love and freedom as we weave together a new tapestry, as we try to ground ourselves so that we can be a source of the solution to the problems in the world and not just caught up in the problems of the world. May your eyes see beauty, may your lips speak truth, may your heart know love, and may your hands do the good works of this world all the days of your life. And until we meet again, go and be blessed and be a blessing. Amen.
Weave us together, weave us together.